Kevin Wood live here on 90.1 WUSB Stony Brook from the Nole Cafe right here in Patchogue at the Alive After 5 event. We're so excited. The streets are filled, as they should be. Multiple bands, at least 90 vendors. And I am fortunate enough to have James Skidmore, part of the man that makes it happen. And we're going to talk to your counterpart here in just a second. James is the president of the Greater Patchogue Chamber of Commerce. James, what I have to ask you about is the history here. Some people, when they think of this event, they think of 4 or 5 years. In fact, this is the 18th year, isn't it?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, 18 years. I've been involved with the Live After 5 for 14 of the 18 years. And the past 5 years, I've been the chairperson, the sole person that's responsible for creating this event.
Really? How has it changed in the 18? If you were to be sitting here 18 years ago, what would be the biggest difference besides the structural differences in Patchogue?
Well, not just to mention the sheer size of the place, but the fact that it was really more of a village type of community effort. So it was really the residents of the village of Patchogue, and there was maybe 1,200 people here. We had Blue Point Brewing at one side of the event, and we had the Brick House Brewery at the other side of the event, and they were the anchors for Alive After 5 and the great musical event that it turned into.
So now we're pulling from, correct me if I'm wrong, I know there's absolutely people that come from Nassau County to this event.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only from Nassau County, this is no doubt working its way into a regional event. We have people coming over on the ferries from Port Jefferson, from Connecticut. They're coming from New Jersey. When we have bands that are national acts, they're bringing their crowds here too. So it's not just a small town Village of Patchogue event anymore. It's one of the larger events in Suffolk County.
Really unbelievable. We have someone sitting next to you.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We want to make sure your volume is up enough, which it sounds like it is. Jacqueline, Routh, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Why don't you, James, introduce what Jacqueline's part is now? I understand this is a first solo event.
Yeah, this is great. Actually, for the last 2 years, Jacqueline, who happens to be a very good friend of mine, and I thought was a worthy person to be involved because she is creative. She's a musician herself. She's involved politically. She's involved in the community. And I couldn't think of a better person to take over the event.
You forgot about one other attribute. She's under 30.
Yes, and she's a millennial, too. And I think that's a great face for this millennial-focused type of event that we do have here. It isn't a family event, but we know later on it does get a little bit younger, and it's a little bit fun, and it's vibrant, and I walk the walk. When it's time to let some new people come in and take over and, relight that spark, Jacqueline's the person that was the best person for the job, and I expect great things out of her in the future, not only with Alive After 5.
No pressure, Jacqueline.
Thank
no
you
pressure.
so much. No, James has always been my biggest cheerleader. So, other than my mom and dad, can't.
Very nice. I'd like to talk to you about your musical and artistic inspiration, and it seems like this is a perfect fit for you.
Yeah. So I've lived in Patchogue about 6 years. Immediately I gravitated towards James, to David Kennedy, to people, the real movers and shakers here, because I wanted to get involved. I had never felt this sense of community the way I do here. I'm raising my son here. I'm invested. I'm planting my roots. So it's a little different. Musically, I've been a singer my whole life. I sing with the Cassandra House Band. How you doing, guys? Nice shout out. But I live in a musical household. I'm a trustee at the Patchogue Arts Council. So it just felt, and I gravitated towards this and to James, and to it just felt very right. And to step into this year was just such a special experience, especially given that we're celebrating Pride. It was to have that be the first solo thing
Yes.
I do. It couldn't mean more to me.
So I should mention, this is the first of 4 themed events.
Yes.
6/27, obviously today. Next one being July 11th, July 25th, and August 8th. I understand there's possible rain dates there, so nobody's escaping getting 4 of these, right?
Absolutely.
Out of the year. Just tell us about the physical aspects of the event. Where does it run from? What street to what street?
Right now it's running from Maple Avenue, and it usually runs down to West Avenue. This year it's running down to around the Brick House Brewery, the tap room area. But that changes every year depending on what's building. And, of course, Patchogue is an incredible village, and it's moving and shaking, and it's building, it's going up, it's going around, it's widening. So we have to kind of go with the flow. So this year that's the parameters of the event. But, of course, they run down South Ocean Avenue, Havens Avenue, Railroad Avenue as well. There's a lot to see here. There's a lot of great music, and there's a lot of great food to eat as well.
Fantastic. Once again, I'm mentioning we're on 90.1 WUSB Stony Brook, live at Alive After 5. There's a lot of live here. We're right in here. I know we have bands. Let's talk about the food. It looks like you could get anything you want here in the street.
Yeah,
By the way, they block off the streets. I want to give people a picture of this because we're on the radio. Talk to me about the food, Jacqueline.
Yeah, so we work really hard to make sure that there's diversity as far as vendors and food is concerned. We get a lot of applications, and we go through them. Okay, we can't have too many of the same thing. We got to space them out. We have to be sort of selective in that way to make sure this is a profitable event for everybody involved. They're not wasting their time. So a lot of work goes into that. Today is the easy part. The execution of the event is the easier part. All the parts are in place. It's everything, the months and the nights leading up to it, that is really where the work is done.
Absolutely, and it shows. I mean, it's obviously very successful. The weather is fantastic. Let's talk about the other 3 dates. What are the themes based on that?
Great. Our next event, we're going to be celebrating our armed forces and everything that they do for our country and for all of us. The following is going to be a celebration of women in the arts, which is always a hit. That actually tends to be our largest, biggest attendance is always that one. And then finally, we're going to be celebrating cultural diversity with a focus on the Hispanic community here because, they make up a third of our population, and I really think showing them recognition and showing that we are invested in learning about their culture and the things that matter to them is really important. So that'll be the final one to finish things out.
Very nice. I'd like to be at all 4 of the events. I'm here today, and I'm glad I am. Thank you for spending some time with us. One more time on the website. Where do people go to learn about Alive After 5? Is it simply?
You can go to aliveafter5.com to learn more.
Yep, fantastic. Hey, we're going to go back live to the live band. Speaking of live again, right? Who we have? Matt? Fancy Cat. Let's go right back to them. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.